guys, Chris here. Today we're going to do a repaint of a Y-Wing from the X-Wing Miniatures game. We're going to do a yellow to orange to red fade on the nose with some flames, and then a steel body. So we're going to run through all the steps here. You can follow along if you'd like. If you have any questions, shoot those over to us at nightshadeministudio@outlook.com. Check out our website, nightshadeministudio.com, and give us a like on Facebook at facebook.com/nightshadeministudio. And go ahead and click subscribe here to receive the latest updates when new videos are posted. I hope these videos continue to improve. I've been taking your feedback on all of these, so hopefully the mic helps, the new webcam helps. Hopefully we've taken care of some of those issues. I did receive some requests for some airbrush tips, so we'll hopefully be doing those soon too. I've also received a lot of requests for the bases that we've been using for the Night Lords, so hopefully we'll get a video out on those soon as well. We got lots of stuff on the table, so should get lots of videos out here. Going to shoot for one a week. I know we've had a little bit of a delay between this one and the previous, but stick with us and we'll try to get as many of these out as possible. Alright, let's get started here. So the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and prime over the model with Vallejo Surface Primer Black, and that's just to give us a good coat to paint over. These do come pre-painted, so don't really want to go over top of the cream kind of color that this came as. So we're just going to get good coverage here and make sure it's got a good coat. And after that's dry, we're going to take poster tack, sometimes called blue tack. This obviously was a different brand since it's not blue, and mask off the nose of the Y-Wing here. You could tape it off, but I actually really like this stuff. You could stretch it out nice and thin and get good protection to the parts you don't want to paint. So this is Vallejo Model Air Silver, and we're just going to airbrush the body of this. We're going to leave the very rear of the engine guards undone, but just get a good coverage of that. And once that's dry, we're going to take the poster tack and mask the body off from the nose. Because here we're actually going to do the transition of oranges and reds on the nose. So the first thing, to give us a good light layer to paint that over, this is Citadel White Scar Air Paint. Got a little bit of thinner in with that, and I know I obscured that a little bit, but we're just going to give that a quick blast on the nose and let that fade out toward the back of the cockpit there. So as you can see, we've got a nice transition already laid down. This is Privateer Press Scorn Red, and we are just going to paint the entire nose red. Now you'll see we'll actually have a fade to start out with because we pre-shaded it, really pre-highlighted it with the white, and left the black areas toward the back. So we're already going to have a good base for our transition, as you can see here. And once that dries, now we're going to take the little bit of Scorn Red that we had left over and add some Troll Slayer Orange to it, and just come up toward the nose of the model a little bit to build up a transition. Instead of going straight to Troll Slayer Orange, we added a little bit to the Scorn Red mix there to make sure that the transition was nice and smooth. So now we're going to add pure Troll Slayer Orange, and we're going to come up further toward the nose, leaving the transition from the Scorn Red to the 50/50 of Scorn Red and Troll Slayer. And then to the Troll Slayer, we're going to add Vallejo Flat Yellow with a little bit of extra thinner since it's a much thicker paint. And that's just going to get blasted across just the very, very tip of the nose to really give us a transition. So once that's all dry, as you can see here, we have a nice fade from yellow back to dark red, very flame-like as it is. And as you can see, we did leave the very back of the engine guards lighter on the silver spray. We didn't give those a full coverage. So this is a little bit of watered down non-oil by Citadel, and we're just going to brush the entire body. There are a lot of very small details on these X-Wing models, so we're going to brush on a relatively light wash of non-oil to really accentuate those. You could go through and pick out the different edge highlights and things, but for the size of these, it's really not going to be noticeable. The wash should pick those out just fine. And just covering everything, leaving the nose obviously untouched here. And that should be all set. Now, we left the nose untouched because we didn't want to go in with straight Nuln Oil, even if it's watered down, because we didn't want to dull the fade that we had on the nose. But we still have some plating in there that we want to accentuate. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Nuln Oil, and this is a mix of 75% water to 25% Future Floor Polish. And as you can see here, it lightens that up quite a bit, and it's actually going to break the surface tension quite a bit for the Nuln Oil. So that's going to fall into the recesses and should minimize the amount of dulling down that we do to the nose. So as you can see, we pick those armor plates back up and don't really obscure or dull the fade that we have. So we're going to add some flames now to the tip of this. Just standard hot rod style flames, obviously in a very, very small format. Now this is Pallid Witch Flesh by Citadel. We're not going straight white. These are going to be white tips on the flames, but with the makeup of most white paints, I find it much easier to paint with this. Pallid Witch Flesh is very, very light off-white, but the coverage is much better, I find. So we're going to block those out and block out the very tip of the nose there, and we have a basic shape of our flames. So then we're going to go in with Citadel White Scar and just hit pure white into the tips. So as you can see here, we're just building up the tips a little bit to brighten those up a touch. We did add some Liquitex Slow Dry to this, in addition to the medium that we added to give us a chance to blend this a little bit. Same thing here, this is Vallejo Flat Yellow again, with some Slow Dry added to it, and we're just going to pull that down from the pure white, and that will give us a little bit of a transition there. I'm just going back in here and re-accentuating some of the white areas that I wanted to bring up a little bit again. This is back to Troll Slayer Orange by Citadel, again with a little bit of Slow Dry, and this is again creating a little bit of a transition without having to mix the paint, since we're doing this in such a small area. And then Citadel Mephiston Red to finish off the base of this, again with some Slow Dry to get a little bit of a blend here. And just going in and finishing off the very tip of the nose. So you can see we've got the fade there, we have some flames. Now we're going to go in with the Vallejo Model Air Silver, and we're just going to go through and give a dry brush to the body. Now with dry brushing, one of the things I've found that helps me out to make sure I've got the right amount of paint on the brush is to actually brush the skin on the knuckle of my thumb. If you can get a good dry brush on the skin on your hand, you should have the proper amount of paint to go then and hit the model with it without coming in too heavy. So we're just going to re-accentuate some of those areas that may have been dulled out by the Nuln Oil, pick up the highlights up above the wash there. And as you can see, we've got a much more interesting body because of that. So now we're going to go back in with that Future Floor Polish and Nuln Oil wash and go over the flames a little bit to make sure we don't lose those panels in the front. And now we're going to come in with a little bit of the Vallejo Model Air Silver and hit the turret on the top of the nose. Now we're going to take Abaddon Black and thin this out quite a bit. because we're going to paint the cockpit here black, the cockpit glass. Now obviously we're being super careful here because any mistakes are going to be very, very evident against that fade. We really don't want to have to go back and try to remove black with oranges and yellows. It's a lot of work to do. So once we've got that in the cockpit, now I'm going to go in and take a little bit of Troll Slayer Orange, just accentuate the cockpit a little bit with just a tiny edge highlight here. Totally optional, but I wanted to offset that cockpit area just a little bit. And just now picking up some of the raised areas, some of the details with Troll Slayer Orange. It works as a highlight really across the entire nose of the ship. It's not too light for the rear areas and not too similar to dark for the front areas. So now we're going to do some bluing, kind of burnt effect on the engine guards here. This is Seraphim Sepia by Citadel, and we're just going to wash the guards here with this just to get that yellow tinge. We're now going to go in with Druchii Violet and go about halfway between the end of the guard there and the beginning of the Seraphim Sepia. And it's alright if they blend a little bit. It's going to give you just a slightly different effect. And making sure we get on all edges there. And now we're going to go in with Drakenhof Nightshade and do about halfway between the end of the ship and the Druchii Violet. So now we've got sort of a blued metal there, and that works on a lot of models. And so we've given that time to dry, and now we're going to take Citadel's Cantor Blue and come back here to the cockpit glass and just do a small inverted L up to the upper left hand corner, and then we're going to go in while that's still a little wet and use Citadel's Temple Guard Blue and just come a little bit to the outside of that. So a very thin line here, just to give the impression of a shine. And now we're going to take some Ceramite White from Citadel and paint up this droid here on the back. And I believe this is going to be a Scum faction ship, so I know it doesn't make a lot of sense for this to be what appears to be an R2 droid, but it was stylized and I kind of like the way it looked. So the body's been painted white, and now we're going to come in with Cantor Blue and do the crown of the droid here. And just trying to stick as close to that, the little rim there as possible. Being very neat. And now we're going to go in and just give it a little bit of a pop of the Temple Guard Blue while that's still a little wet on the top to give it a little bit of a highlight. And now we're going to do the Nuln Oil and Future Floor Polish trick again. And we're going to just go in slightly heavy into the cockpit area there, and the turret and the droid to give those some shape and definition. And I actually did one more quick layer of this since it was a bit lighter over top of the nose again, just to re-accentuate those panels. Alright, so now we're going to come in and take some Abaddon Black and just dry brush the very tip of the engine guard there to finish out that blued and burnt metal effect. Not super heavy or anything, just giving the final shade to that. And with the black glaze finished and dried, we're just going to dot the upper left hand corner of the glass there with white. And now we're going to seal the whole thing with Dull Coat. Once that's dry, we're going to hit the glass with gloss varnish. So as you can see here, this is the final product. Thanks for watching. Please visit our website at nightshadeministudio.com. Check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/nightshadeministudio. And go ahead and click subscribe to our YouTube channel here to receive the latest updates and new video postings. And thanks again.